Yeah, I think that's the key difference. We can take a quick look at an example on Navi protocol
Yep.
because now is the time to be executing the bull market strategy because of
Yep.
the outlook we have. And again, over on Navi protocol on the Sui blockchain, again, if people are
So really excited for two things. Number one, we got Gordon joining us, who's going to be walking us through some really awesome strategies here. And number two, this was a really highly requested video, is what is our kind of yield farming in bullish market strategy and what is our bearish market strategy. And we're really ultimately going to be talking about going long and short in a really healthy manner without gambling or, worrying about liquidation, and being able to control the amount of risk you take and being able to use the cash flow to keep lowering your risk as time continues. All of this will make sense. I promise you that. Stick around to the end of the video. We're going to be covering a lot of strategies, and we're going to also be looking at like how this practically works, and we're going to look at a few different protocols. So with that said, Gordon, start us off here. What are we looking at?
yeah, definitely. And you're right. There is a crucial difference that people need to understand between the bull market versus the bear market strategy, which we will look at the end of the video, Lucas, like you said. And, in a bull market strategy, obviously, we're coming from this with a bullish bias. And we're making this video here towards the end of 2024. We've got a pretty bullish outlook for the next few months, Lucas. And if you
Yep.
want to be levering up your exposure to the market, you can be executing a strategy to give yourself more exposure to volatile assets. But you need to do that in a very strategic way. So, on the supply side, in a bull market, many of us in the UIG and working with our fast track clients, we want to maintain exposure to our bull run bag assets. Okay. So many of us have bull run bags with Solana, with Sui, with Ethereum, with Bitcoin. And we don't necessarily want to take all of that capital and put it into pools because we want to get the price appreciation. So what we can do though is we can use these assets as collateral, maintain our exposure to their price appreciation, and then we can borrow stable coins against them. Okay. We want to do this very safely. And this is why we typically recommend something like a 40% loan to value ratio. And then when you do that, you've got two options as to how you can use that capital. Many people will put it into LPs and start generating that cash flow. Lucas, you've done countless videos about this on the channel. People can check them out. And you're going to generate 10-15% per month with that cash flow. Or you could use a looping strategy that we've alluded to before as well, where you could take this borrowed stablecoin, loop it back into buying even more Solana, for example, and getting that price appreciation over the next few months. And lots of people are starting to adopt this strategy. Maybe you can drop us a comment below if you're doing this yourself. And many clients in the UIG, just like Moses, Lucas, are benefiting exactly from this strategy.
We only bring this up because I think a lot of people, it's like, oh great, theory is one thing, but like how does it actually work? And we're going to show you some different protocols. Just stick around for that. We're going to show you some stuff like maybe on Navi protocol and how that could work on the Sui blockchain. But Moses here, if you want to pause, you can read the rest of this. But what he was saying is basically he started his DeFi journey 31 weeks ago. He's now making over $300 per day. I get excited when I read this is more than most family and friends make with their 9 to 5 job. And this is a side business. He said a key point. It's a DeFi as a business. We treat this like a business. And what he says down there is thank you for all the support. And more importantly, the information shared with us. I just started using Aave. So I've done a lot of videos on Aave to make money on the coins that were just sitting in my hodl bag. When we say make cash flow on your crypto, that's ultimately what we're talking about. Is you are supplying your, let's just say Bitcoin or ETH or some of the assets you're holding for the bull run bag. You're taking healthy leverage or loan against it, and then you're going to make cash flow on that. You're basically unlocking instant liquidity. And for those who are CPAs or maybe are a little bit more aware of this, also debt isn't taxable. So it's as free as money can get. And then we're creating cash flow for that. So if you're like watching this and you're like, okay, cool, like that sounds great in theory, check out some of my videos where I'm doing well over 10K a month on my ETH, well over $1,000 per day on my Bitcoin. Have a look at what Moses is doing. And we're also going to explore Navi protocol in a second here. So Gordon, in bullish markets, I think a lot of people are nodding their heads saying, yep, that makes sense. In bearish markets, am I just kind of screwed? Is there any way that I can capitalize on the markets when they are in the red? And maybe you can walk us through the opposite of a bull market strategy.
Yeah. We can definitely capitalize it on the way down as well, Lucas. And I think that's part of what we want to ingrain in the investors that we work with, the clients that are in the UIG. You don't have to be only making money on the way up. We can be strategic, and we have strategies just like what we're about to look at for making money on the way down. But the key difference here, of course, is that after you've scaled out, or once we think we're reaching a peak around the bull cycle, the market's about to roll over, we do have options for supplying stable coins and then borrowing the volatile asset on the way down. Okay. Why do we do this? Well, let's run through a quick example to explain it. Because let's say, hypothetically speaking, Solana reaches a peak of $1,000 by the peak of the cycle 1 year from now. Okay. We've maybe laddered out on the way up, and we've scaled out of our Solana bag, and now we're holding a lot of stable coins as profit. If we feel Solana is about to roll over and go down in price, this is how we would essentially go through that strategy. We would supply stablecoin. For example, if we supply $100,000 worth of USDC, we can then borrow the volatile asset, in this case Solana, against it. We could borrow 50K worth of Solana against our USDC. The key trigger here is that we must sell that Solana for stablecoin as soon as we borrow it in order to lock in our cost basis of 50K. Okay. Step 4 is actually...
Someone asked that on YouTube, and it's just like, well, that doesn't make sense, because if I just hold SOL, I'll just ride SOL all the way down and I just repay the SOL. I haven't really done anything except lost money. You've got to sell it for the stable to lock in that cost basis. So I'm happy you said that.
Yeah, 100%. Step 4 is optional here, but you could take that stable and then lend it on Aave or a different lending protocol to earn a little bit of yield while you're waiting for Solana to drop. Okay, remember, we will have a bearish outlook on the market by the time we're executing this strategy. And again, for example purposes, let's say Solana drops from $1,000 at the peak to $500 by the time it gets 12 months from the peak. What we can then do is we can use our 50K worth of stablecoin, but now we only need to repay 25K worth of Solana, because Solana has dropped by 50%, leaving us with a profit of 25K in this particular example. So
let us know in the comments if this is lining up. So just really think about it. Let's say you borrow 100 SOL, you sell it for stablecoin. The price of SOL drops by half, you buy back 100 SOL at a way discounted price, and then you pay back that 100 SOL. So it's not USD worth, it's the amount of SOL you have. So you bought 100 SOL, $1,000 a piece, you bought $100,000 of SOL, you sell it, it drops in half, it's now worth $50,000. You can buy back $50,000 worth of SOL, which is still 100 SOL or whatever. Then you pay back the SOL and you've locked in that profit. And I think it's really obvious when the bear market starts. You may not want to make these calls right off the bat, but once things start crashing, it's super obvious that, hey, people are selling, people locking profit. And again, if you're part of the community, if you're just connected to us, I'm sure you'll see a lot of these signals and just like people talking about it. So just make sure that you kind of stay on top of things. Anyway, what else you got, Gordon?
Yeah, I think that's the key difference. We can take a quick look at an example on Navi protocol, because now is the time to be executing the bull market strategy because of the outlook we have. And again, over on Navi protocol on the Sui blockchain, again, if people are invested in Sui, let us know. We're fans of Sui over here as well. Drop us a comment. You can see I'm supplying Sui here on the supply side as the volatile asset, and I'm borrowing stablecoin on the borrow side. Okay, I can then take that stable coin, and what I'm doing is I'm looping some of it back into Sui, and I'm taking some of it over to put into cash flow pools that are going to continue to give me yield every day, every week, every month. And I'm also bringing that yield back over into the bull run bag pretty aggressively for the next couple of months, because I want to get a very good allocation over there. So that is what we're doing here. Lucas, I know you've got tons of other examples of lend borrow on the channel. I'm sure people can check those out as well.
Maybe you go back to the Navi for a second here. If you open the Navi protocol, let us know in the comments, because I have seen, I think, some comments asking, what is this looping thing all about? I would be happy to do a video on looping, where you can supply the Sui. Let's just say in this example, you can borrow the stablecoin, you can buy more Sui, supply it, borrow, supply, borrow. And especially in a bullish market, you can just get more use out of the capital you have, and you're in full control of the health score or the risk details, or basically your LTV of your supplied assets, your borrowing lending strategies. So let me know in the comments if you want a video specifically on that. This is looking super juicy, and you're still net positive on APY, it looks like, even with the borrow.
Yeah, there's some great incentives over here on Navi protocol right now. You can see this negative APY on my borrowed capital actually means I'm getting paid to execute the borrow. So yeah, very exciting stuff happening on both Sui and Navi. And if you're strategic about this, guys, again, when you get proficient at DeFi, you can find these opportunities where you're getting paid to even take out loans. So that's all I got for today, Lucas. Hopefully that's helpful.
Guys, let us know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions for Gordon, for myself, if you want to see any kind of content. I want to bring this front and center all of the time, as this YouTube channel is for you. And it's not theory. It's by DeFi investors for DeFi investors. We're in this stuff. The whole team is in this stuff. A lot of our clients and members are now doing this full time. Like, this stuff works if you're not gambling, you're investing. If you're taking this seriously as a student and you're actually treating this like a business. And I think most people in this space are gambling, which makes it easy for people like us and you watching to win, because we're actually taking this seriously. So let us know in the comments if anything landed. Like and subscribe. This channel does not grow without your support. So if you think this could help someone you know who's gambling, or you're part of a Telegram group or a WhatsApp group or a Discord group, and you think this video or this channel could really help and support that group and actually making gains and making profits, then share it with them. And with that said, we're going to get out of here. Thanks, Gordon.
Thank you.